perfectly chewy, hand-pulled Chinese noodles. These look really tricky, but I'm gonna show you how you can easily make these at home. Okay, so I've done all the experimenting for you. I've been through a whole bunch of YouTube channels, recipes, cookbooks, and found the easiest technique, I think, for these hand-pulled noodles, and also the best ratio of flour and water, the two most crucial things. Now, we're not gonna do the big, pulling, stretching thing, because I had a million disasters with that, and so I'm not gonna put you guys through the pain. We're gonna do a very easy version of these. Okay, so I am starting with some plain flour, and I just wanna add a little bit of salt to that. So this is plain all-purpose flour. Now for the quantities, you wanna head to the recipe link so you can get the quantities in your local conversion. Always do weights, guys, because measuring by cups for this kind of thing can be really inaccurate. Okay, so to the flour and salt, I wanna add some water, just into a little whirl in the middle there. And now just starting from the center, incorporate that flour into the water and keep mixing. Now for a while here, this mixture is gonna look too dry, and that's okay. That's what we want, because if this dough is too wet, it's really hard to pull a little bit later on. So I've gotten to this point now. I'm gonna get rid of this wooden spoon and then just get in there with my hands. I'm just trying to pick up as much of that flour into the dough as possible. Now once the dough has almost come together, just tip it out onto your bench, and then just sort of bring all those bits and pieces together and really push and knead that dough until you get all those bits and pieces, those little bits incorporated. Now at this point, you still might be thinking this dough looks too dry. That's all right, because it will turn out in the end, I promise. Now this is definitely a dough that is hard to knead. So just really get your whole upper body into it and push so that you're getting the maximum amount of kneading pressure. Okay, so it's been a few minutes, about 3 or 4, and this dough is feeling very firm when I'm kneading it. It's still a little lumpy. I wouldn't say it's very smooth just yet, but when I press down on here, the dough bounces back really quickly. So that tells me that it's time for this guy to have a little rest. So just pop him into a bowl, cover on top, and 15 minutes, and we'll come back. Now this guy should be feeling a lot softer than when I first put him into the bowl. And I'm just gonna do a little more kneading here, a couple more minutes worth. And straight away you should be able to see that that dough looks smoother than before. Now we're really getting to the right texture here. Okay, shape that into a ball again, back into the bowl, and another 15 minutes to rest. All right, time to take a look. Okay, this dough is feeling nice and soft, it's very smooth. Now I'm going to portion it up into about 8 pieces, as even as possible. I just move those over to the side, and I want to take some oil and just oil my bench top here first of all, and then take a piece of that dough and I want to roll it out into a long oval kind of shape. Pop that onto a tray and just continue on here. This is the first step in making our noodle shape. The other step comes a little later. Now cover these up with a moist tea towel, and that will keep them nice and airtight. And the whole point of this resting and kneading and rolling is that we want to get that really beautiful, firm, chewy texture to our noodle. All of this is going to help us get that. Okay, we're nearly there, guys. Let's take a look at our dough. And I just want one of these pieces. And now I promised you at the beginning I wouldn't do anything too tricky. Now we're not going to do the big kind of flip and turn and twist kind of stuff that I can't even manage. But we are going to do a little bit of slapping on the bench. First of all, I want to grab the back of my knife, so not the sharp part, and just make an indentation in the middle of that piece. Don't cut all the way through. And now here's your little Chinese chef restaurant move that you need to do. Grab the dough on each side and just slap it and tap it against your bench top. Now you can stretch it a little bit, but that slapping action should really do most of the work for you. Okay, so you'll get to the point where that indentation we made should start to break apart. So just pull that and break that strip into two. And this is what's going to give us that beautiful hand-torn edge of the noodles so that everyone knows that they're homemade. And then keep going with a little bit more slapping. Now once you've stretched this as far as it'll go, just pop that onto the board and keep going. We're going to thin this out even further, so don't worry if it's a little thick at this stage. So if you're making these in advance, I would make them up to this point, then cover them, put them in the fridge for a couple of hours, and then bring them to room temperature before you go to cook them. So to cook these, you want to get a big pot of boiling water and then grab a hold of each strand of noodle and just sort of pull it ever so slightly and stretch it as you're dropping it into the water. These just need a couple of minutes, and look at that, boy, that is such a satisfying thing to be making your own noodles. Now you want to drain these and use them straight away while they're nice and warm. So have your sauce or whatever you're going to be putting with them ready to go. Now I'm going to be showing you some of my favorite toppings for these kind of noodles on my YouTube channel, but in the meantime, just a little bit of chili oil, some soy sauce, and some spring onions will do me just fine. Okay, let's see. Oh, look at that noodle texture. So beautifully chewy. The beautiful silkiness on the outside as well. It's like fresh pasta. Yes, dried noodles are totally fine, but when you go to the trouble of making your own fresh pasta, always tastes better. If you've got any comments or questions, pop them below. And if you enjoyed the video, why not hit that subscribe button plus the little bell one, and that way you'll get notified every time I release a new video. Thanks guys.